Hi everyone, and welcome to Cooking with CandiWare. But today is a bit of a different little vlog I wanted to do with you all. And don't mind me if I look down every so often. I've got Blaze here with me because this is kind of a hard subject for me to tackle, and I don't feel like a lot of people have discussed this on YouTube. So growing up was pretty hard for me. I have a learning disability. I'm dyslexic, and it's been a pretty big battle for a lot of my life. So I jot down in my cute little notebook here some thoughts that I wanted to discuss, because I don't feel like a lot of people really talk about growing up with it and where they are in their adult life. So I learn differently than most people. I tend to be a visual and hearing learner. So you know, the regular school system didn't always work for me. Another point that I wanted to discuss was how I was treated in school. So I wasn't diagnosed with my learning disability until I was in grade 3. My mom knew pretty much before I even got into school that there was something different with me. So I also have a twin brother, and at the time everyone was so convinced he was gifted, and I think he is. He's, you know, as a gifted person sometimes you can be a bit lazy. But anyway, so super smart, and I always had problems. So my mom she was trying to teach us the alphabet before we got into school, and it would be, okay, this is a flashcard A, now this is flashcard B, and my brother could get it no problem, and she would do that with me, and then, okay, Candace, now what's this one? And I wouldn't know, and it would be the A. So when she brought it up to my school, pretty much what they told her was, you're comparing apples to oranges. And I think that's ridiculous, because everyone does learn differently, and it's a shame that, you know, they treat certain people that way compared to others. But growing up, so they put me in, finally I got tested in grade 3 because they finally listened to her, because she wouldn't give up on it, and so sure enough, yeah, she has a learning disability, since I was pretty slow in reading, writing, and math. And I noticed it in school, especially in grade 2, once we had to do spelling bees, and I would practically get 1 out of 10, and I would just feel like the stupid kid in class, and it was awful. It was awful. So I remember going through school, and you know, everyone has their little crushes and stuff like that, and I remember asking my brother, how come none of the guys like me? And I mean, thinking about this now, it's so ridiculous, but at the time, he ended up saying to me point blank that all the boys think you're stupid, so that's why nobody likes you. And that was pretty hard, and I used to go to bed, and I was a lot more religious growing up. I would ask God, why did you make me this way? And I hated it. I just hated it. So that was really tough for me. I'm getting a little choked up thinking about it. I wouldn't tell my friends once I got into high school, because I didn't want people to treat me any differently. And I vowed that I wouldn't use resources or special ed as much as I did in elementary school, since in elementary school what they do is, for math and English, they would put me in a separate class with everyone else that was diagnosed with a learning disability of sorts, and they would get you to the level that they thought you were at, like in phonics and whatnot, and you would just work through your workbooks and that kind of stuff. And by the time I graduated elementary school, and it was really high on my list that I graduated with most successful student award, and I actually achieved that. So that was really important to me, and I was really excited about that. But I found that once I got into high school that I wasn't really prepared, especially for math. I almost failed grade 9 math. The only thing that pretty much my saving grace was that there was a after class math class that the older students to get their community service hours would do, and I pretty much went to that every night because that's how much I needed help. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? So grade 9 was definitely the hardest, and after that year it became a little bit smoother, and I really didn't use the resource class. I would only go there for tests, just for a nice quiet room, and I was at the time allowed extra time and a sheet full of my own notes that I think would be on the test, so I used that to my advantage. There was also someone in class that would help me and any of the other resource students in math and English class, which was really helpful. When I was younger, what I wanted to be growing up was a vet, and then it switched to zookeeper, and then thanks to my uncle, he's the one that suggested that I get into the arts, and I really didn't even see that as a profession growing up, but I did follow his advice since I really look up to him, and so I got into animation school. I did graduate with high honors in high school, so it just goes to show that even with a learning disability, as long as you are persistent and try hard, things do come of it. And that's one thing that I noticed with a lot of other people that were in my resource class, is they would pretty much use their learning disability as a crutch, and I refused to do that. I like I said, I didn't really want people to know. I just wanted to be one of the other kids and be able to learn and be with the rest of my friends. So then I went to Seneca for art fundamentals, and then I applied to get into animation. I didn't get in my first try, so I waited until the January intake and I applied again. And you have to have a portfolio of life drawing and what other stuff? Oh, 2 room drawings, 2 object drawings, 2 drawings of your choice. So it's pretty in depth if your art school or your art class in high school isn't good enough, and I found that mine definitely wasn't. So I got on the wait list again. This was for the second time, but I ended up securing the spot. I guess somebody had dropped out or gone to a different school or whatever, so then I got that, which was so amazing. And so long story short, now I work in the animation industry, in 3D animation, but before that, like once I finished and graduated, one of the biggest things I wanted to do was work on a Disney film, and I'm gonna just turn the camera so you guys can see over here. Here is my poster. I worked on The Princess and the Frog. That was my first job out of school. I was an ink and painter, so that meant that I colored in the characters in the background, and that was so exciting that I could get that as my first job out of school, because I never really knew what I would, if you know. you have all these ideas of what you want to do and be, and then you go through school and sometimes it doesn't always work. So I was really happy that I could work on a feature film, especially as my first thing out of school. And my mom gave me this card, and she handed it to me, and it's the song. I'll just play it for a second. Anyways, I just don't want to play it all for copyright purposes, but she gave this to me and I started crying, and that was back in 2009. Actually, we both started crying because she said that I achieved my dreams, and so I just wanted to let everybody know that even with a learning disability, it doesn't matter, and if there is something you really want to do, don't let it hold you back. So now I work at a small animation studio in Toronto. We're working on a kids show. I just switched to a different studio. I worked as a layout artist, and these are things you can look up. I'm not going to go into detail into what these jobs entail, but now I'm learning a new... sorry guys. Now I'm learning a new department. It's called flow or finaling, and it's been an uphill battle since, you know, I was getting really comfortable at my old job. I was there for 5 years, and I thought it was time for a change, so wish me luck. But yes, don't let anything stop you. Now I have my own business. I've had it since I graduated. On Etsy, where I sell my miniature food jewelry. I sell at a major craft show called the One of a Kind Show at Christmas time. I've got my YouTube channel, as you guys know, which I love doing this for you guys, and I'm so thankful to have this YouTube community. I have a house and 2 cats and a dog and a wonderful husband, so it goes to show you that whatever you want, you can get it. And to tell you the truth, after graduating, all I could think about was, I want to work in animation. I never thought about, will I find my life partner? What will I do when I find this person? You know, will we have a house? Whatever. None of that stuff ever really occurred to me. It was never, you know, perfect wedding, nothing like that. I think maybe because I had to focus so much on school, for me it was very tunnel vision. With my learning disability, I always needed to focus on the task at hand. Maybe that was one of the reasons why, but yeah, I really hope that this video inspires you guys that you can do anything you want to do as long as you try and work very hard for it. And I'm nowhere near where I want to be on my YouTube channel or with my Etsy or anything like that, but you know, it's a life journey, and it's something that you can always work on. So anyways, let me know what you thought of this type of video. I asked you guys on Twitter if you guys would like a video about me growing up with dyslexia, and you guys ended up saying yes, which I was shocked about, and it took me a little while to put this video together because I was a little nervous and not really sure how this will be received. So please be respectful, and let me know in the comments below what you thought of this, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks so much, guys. Bye. Love you all.